Welcome at Vera Capital Partners. Today I want to talk about the architecture of cross-border payments and why they are designed to fail, because we have a client, an actual case, and he tried to send funds from the US to the EU and it was a disaster. So let me explain what happened. We have a client and we set him up a product and we make contracts, everything is fine, everything is properly, then he get his invoice and he needed to pay his invoice. And we talk about 35,000 euro and the equivalent is roughly 41,000 something US dollar. So he took this invoice, went to his bank, which is a very prominent bank in the US, and he went to his branch and he said, look, this is my invoice, I need to pay this and that amount. And the lady behind the desk took everything, put everything in place, and she told him, yes, no problem at all, funds should be arrived in roughly 2 days. Okay, so he went home. 2 hours later, he received an email. And that email says, sorry, we can't make your payment, please come back to our branch. And the problem nowadays is very simple, simply because our SWIFT system is designed in that way that if you are a bank, you have 2 different KYC layers. So the first layer is your international layer. Every bank who wants to participate in the SWIFT system needs to fulfill international KYC requirements. So this is the first layer, and this is not a problem. So when you have a bank in the US and you have a bank in the EU, they must fulfill the same international KYC standards. Okay, that's not a problem. But the challenge is the bank in the US have to fulfill additionally to the requirements which are internationally to participate on the SWIFT system. They must fulfill national US KYC requirements. And we have exactly the same on the other side of the water. That means every bank in EU needs to fulfill EU requirements. And this is the problem. And US requirements and EU requirements are not compatible. So you always have problems. And this is the reason why our transaction failed. And it took us 8 days to find out why. And even that we know the reason why the 35,000 euro, which needs to be paid from the US to EU, never happened. We know now why, but nobody understands. And there is no system, how can I say, synchronization. So the US bank has tried in their best interest to make the payment, but the EU bank is not able to receive what US bank needs to make that payment done. So what was the solution? The solution for us was very clear. So the client went to his branch, he stopped the bank transfer after 2 days. Finally, it happened. He sent the funds to a third party, and this third party make a transaction over Wise or Revolut. I don't know exactly, one of these 2 banks. And then it made happen, and then it worked, and the funds are credited in the account from the client in EU. So you see, the madness we are in is very simple, and it's completely homemade, because our system, our banking system is designed to fail. And I will explain to you why. So you make your bank transfer, and after that, they then start making the KYC procedure. And because of you have different standards, they cannot properly talk to each other. So it will not work. So the system we already know, if you are into cross-border payments, cannot work. And what we have find out is when you work, for example, with an offshore bank, and these offshore destinations, they are designed in a different way, because they operate their banking system like old German or old Swiss private banks. That means they act manually. People, humans are involved to make these transactions happen. When you bank with normal high street banks like our client I explained in the US, So you put everything in your online banking, or you go to your branch and the lady or the guy in the branch put everything in the system. The moment you do that, you start banking with AI tools. And it cannot work because there is no way to interact with these AI bots. And this is the problem. So when you are big in cross-border payments and you need to do things in a proper way, and I don't talk about 35,000 euro, I talk about 350, 3.5 million, 35 million per transaction, then you need to find a serious alternative. And the alternative, in my opinion, only can be offshore banking, simply because there are humans involved and they first make the KYC clearing between the two banks and then they send the funds out. So the percentage that your funds get stocked when you bank with offshore banking platforms is nearly 0%. And this is the difference nowadays. And if you never heard about that before and you think, yeah, that absolutely makes sense, simply click the link below the video or in our bio, book a private consultation. We at Vera Capital Partners are happy to explain to you how offshore banking can benefit your life, can make your business easier, and can make your finances absolutely easy. And I'm looking forward to talk to you very soon, or my colleagues are looking forward to talk to you very soon. And I wish you a nice day. Bye-bye.